take a walk with me now, darling.
Welcome to Interesting Beings. Today I am here with an interesting being, Kurt Yagi, musician and executive director at Real Options for City Kids. We're going to discuss his music and life, and welcome to Interesting Beings, Kurt.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be on.
I wanted to start a little bit with your background, kind of like your creative journey, how you got to your sound.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess I'm a little bit of a late bloomer, musically speaking. And so I didn't actually start performing until later in life, but I've always had music in me. My mom played piano, my sister played piano. They did that when I was younger. I took clarinet lessons once when I was in elementary school, but that was it. And I wasn't really into it. I was into sports more. And so it was really funny when I was in high school. I think my mom bought this music book with rock music. I heard her play this rock song. It was called Sister Christian by Night Ranger. It's pretty old. You should look that up when you have a chance. But she played that and my eyes and ears were like drawn to the piano. I'm like, you can do rock music on a piano? I'd never heard that before. And so that was sort of the first time I thought, you know what, I think I want to try this out. And so I sort of figured out that there was notes and they corresponded to those white and black keys. And I sort of figured out how to play the piano. And from there, I just kept playing, but never really played in front of people. Just sort of, I was a closet piano player, picked up the guitar after college and just sort of slowly found my way into music. And it took a while.
So you kind of just picked it up, right?
No formal training. I did have a couple lessons here and there, but really it was just more for playing. At different companies I worked with, people always wanted to jam. And so I would do that. And I think that's when I first got my taste of playing with other people. And, I was never in the front. I was always in the background, but just playing and having a good time. And sort of, from there, there's a band I was in that I was thinking, you know what, if this guy's writing this music and having a good time, I think I could do that. And so at some point I decided to write my own music and perform and all that kind of stuff. And it was terrible. I was probably horrible at first, but just, I kept at it. And I guess it got to me to where I'm at today.
I think that's a really great story, actually, of a creative journey, because you kind of hear that, these people started when they were very young, but it's interesting to hear that you kind of found it, later in life. Are you still in a band or are you solo?
No, I'm still in a band. I guess it's interesting. The band it's under my name. So I still write and I still perform. It's called Kurt Yagi and the People Standing Behind Me. So we try to perform as much as we can. The pandemic kind of put a damper on things though.
How did the pandemic affect you?
I mean, I have a lot of musician friends. Well, fortunately, as you alluded to before, I have a day job. So that kind of kept me afloat. But a lot of my musician friends and everyone I knew at the time, everyone had to cancel their gigs and just figure out other ways to do things. And for me, I sort of pivoted with my music. I couldn't perform, concerts. I have 2 kids at home. They're now 3 and 9. And so my wife and I were struggling taking care of them during this pandemic. And all I really wanted to do was entertain them in different ways. And so I sort of started entertaining them with, first playing covers of children's music, but then realizing, the stuff they see on YouTube and whatever other channels, I think I could do better. And so, over the last couple of years, I've been doing a lot of children's music, just recording and making videos, and it seems to be catching on. People seem to like it.
That's a very interesting story because, I know when I was growing up, I didn't watch, YouTube music or, kids videos on YouTube. That's kind of like a new market, isn't it? Kind of recent.
Yeah, it's a big market. I didn't know about it until this pandemic when my 3-year-old, we have an iPad for him. And I think that's the one downside of the pandemic is he probably had way too much than he should have, but it's like we were trying to survive at the time. I didn't realize it, but just watching him or observing him watch different music videos. He would just stream them over and over, and just he loved all the different songs and all the different things and content. And I never realized how big of a market that was, and how much of a need for just good children's music to be made out there.
There is definitely a line between learning kids content and kids content that is just kind of mindless entertainment.
Yeah, and I think that's what I've been trying to do with my music. I think my background with work, I mean, I have so many years of working with kids that I think that's translated pretty well to making children's music, because I try to incorporate some kind of message or movement or something, reading or letters or numbers into the songs I create, and hopefully that contributes to better content out there.
I think it does, because even if it's not a clear message, I still think it's good for child development, for them to see that, and especially in song form. I mean, what kid doesn't like songs? But yeah, so you mentioned your organization, Real Options for City Kids. So kind of what do you do with that?
Yeah, what's interesting is the acronym for that is ROCK. We don't actually do a lot of music, but ROCK is more of the, just sort of a solid foundation for kids. We work with a very small population, a community in San Francisco. It's called Visitation Valley. And we just work with kids there, and we just provide positive opportunities and hope and mentors. And we've been doing this for 27 years, and it's great. And, we just try to work as many days of the week as we can, as much time in front of kids, because if we do, we know that they're going to be successful when they become adults.
So do you kind of assist with their learning, or is it more of like a social thing?
I mean, it's a little of everything. It's been a little bit different over the last couple of years during the pandemic, but I mean, for the most part, we are integrated with all of our public schools in our community. And so that's a great entry point for us into their lives. And so, we work directly with our principals to make sure they're getting the right support they need to just succeed. And so what that looks like during the day, we'll do wellness, or we might do recreation or literacy. We have full after school programs that have enrichment activities, recreation. Weekends, we focus on a lot of sports and outdoor adventures. And then we have full summer camps, both day and overnight camps for kids, just to see different things that they would not normally experience.
That's great. Was your career always sort of child development focused?
Not at all. I've had, I guess, just like music, I've had a very strange and interesting path into this nonprofit world. I actually started off my career in technology. I was a computer science major in college, and I worked in downtown San Francisco and different technology companies, did big corporate entities, and I always thought something was missing though. I knew I liked kids, and I knew I could do something better in life, but I was always going down that corporate path, and just somehow by chance, a friend of mine emailed me about this organization, Rock, that needed volunteers, and I responded and kind of just showed up. I was this random guy in their outside world and started volunteering, and it was great, and I loved it, and I ended up going every single opportunity I had. Every weekend I'd go volunteer. I would take a couple days off from work in the summertime to take kids to camp. And just, it really got to the point where I loved this organization so much more than my day job. And so I switched careers at some point. And that was about, I switched careers in 2003. So it's been a long time, 18 plus years.
For you to kind of branch off that and find something you actually enjoy is really great and actually very inspiring. So what exactly is kind of like the age groups you make music for?
Well, for the children's music, I mean, it's really kind of the toddler and early elementary school age that I'm kind of focused on right now, just because it sort of corresponds to my kids' ages. So like I was saying, my youngest is 3. I guess I started doing this almost 2 years ago. So he was around 2. He's going to be 4 pretty soon. So I think, from infants, toddlers, even the oldest is 9 years old. He's in third grade. He enjoys a lot of this stuff as well. And so, I think there's a pretty wide range. The latest song I have coming out, which I think you're going to be playing at the end of this, or
Yes,
is about pizza. And that's my 9-year-old Micah. His favorite thing is pizza. So, and most of my original songs that I create for children have to do with some sort of life experience or interest of theirs. So this one's coming out officially February 13th. So I guess your audience will get a first sneak peek at it.
yes.
And what's cool about this one is it just kind of happened organically. We were talking about pizza in the car, and I think most of my songs happen in the car for whatever reason. We were talking about pizza in the car and just couldn't figure out if we wanted pepperoni or cheese. And really that kind of became a hook. I don't know how it happened, but I sort of started saying pepperoni, cheese, pepperoni. And they were chanting along with me. And I realized, you know what, I'm going to make a song out of this. This is great. And so I think the fact that both the 3-year-old and the 9-year-old really enjoyed that process and they liked the end result, I think it's a pretty wide range here that will like this music.
Yeah, and even I was listening to it and I was like, wow, this is catchy. They have great beats. It was also for parents, enjoyable for parents, right?
Yeah, I think that was a sort of the catalyst to why I started doing this, is that a lot of these songs that my 3-year-old, his name's Azo, that Azo was listening to, I mean, they were covers of old nursery rhymes. And I was so tired of them. Like he would stream a lot of these songs over and over. And I mean, they're great songs, but they're nursery rhymes. And I was hoping to do something that someone like myself would actually enjoy, so that we can listen to these together and just not get completely tired of it. And so that's kind of the theme of all my songs, is really trying to put my own musical creativity into this and influence, just to make sure parents like it too. I mean, so I have songs with reggae influence. This last one kind of has funk and hip hop. There's rock. There's all kinds of things. It's kind of great to just put music out there where I'm not really tied to any specific genre.
Did you find it pretty easy to go from, I guess you could call it more adult music to children's music?
Yeah, I mean, I think, with my background working with kids as my day job and just having kids at home, it was really easy to do this. I mean, I've always done music with the kids anyhow. And I think the concepts are pretty similar in terms of, just when I'm doing adult music, I want to put stuff out there with hooks that people enjoy and it moves them and they can repeat. And so it's sort of a lot of the same stuff translates directly to children's music. It's a little simpler, but you can kind of, I think the way that I do it kind of brings in good musicianship as well.
Your music is very good. It's very engaging to me, at least. I thought it was very engaging.
I appreciate
especially the children's music.
Thank you.
It entertained me. Kind of going back to rock, were you guys virtual over the pandemic?
Yeah, it was a combination of things. So when shelter in place in San Francisco hit, we didn't know what to do. And the schools didn't know what to do, since we were tied to the schools. We had to kind of take their cues. So for the first bit of time, we had to pivot our offerings. So, when distance learning started, we were helping the teachers virtually in any way we could. So in some cases, it was literacy intervention online. Others, it was just helping with breakout rooms and stuff like that. Eventually, we actually had an in-person community hub. There's a lot of families that just don't have good wireless or internet access or technology. And so we had a place established in the library where we'd have a small cohort of students come in and we'd help them through distance learning that way. And then just over time, when schools started opening again, we were able to do stuff back in person. And sort of in addition to that, we helped with a lot of families with food and financial support, and just doing whatever we could to help people live. And it was tough, but we're pretty proud of what we were able to do.
I can't even imagine how tough it must have been with younger students, because I mean, I know even with older students, high school age students, it was extremely tough. I mean, a lot of people have gaps in their learning, that was basically 2 years of isolation. So yeah, it must have been really tough.
Well, it's tough. I had both perspectives because, as a parent of two young boys, it was really tough. The youngest wasn't in school at the time. He was in daycare, and we had to pull him out. And so he didn't have to, it wasn't as challenging with him with distance learning. It was challenging with him being at home all the time at that age. With the 9-year-old who was, he's elementary school, he struggled. Distance learning did not work with him. And so as a parent, my wife or I had to sit with him at every Zoom call, help with every homework assignment. And it was a bit of a challenge. So I kind of see it from all different angles. My wife's also works at a school. She's a middle school counselor in San Francisco. So we had a lot going on. We still do.
Yeah, it's not over yet. I mean, every day there's a new variant. It's frustrating. Fingers
crossed.
Yeah, hopefully. So I understand that you have a new release coming out February 13th, right?
That's right. Pizza Friday is the name of the tune. Pizza Friday, and in parentheses, it's pepperoni cheese. February 13th, which actually is my birthday. So I wanted to do something special for my birthday. Why not have a release of a new song and a video come out? So it's very exciting. It's, like I mentioned, it's kind of a funk, rock, hip hop tune. This one's actually very meaningful to me because, like I said, the story is, it was my kids who love pizza. And that's kind of how this song started. I got my whole family involved with this song. So the chorus, the hook of pepperoni cheese, that's my kids plus all their cousins. And even my wife is on there. There's a vocal hook in there. That's my wife's dad. So my father-in-law is singing some of the hooks. He's a great musician, Chris Saunders. And then, of course, I am kind of pushing myself. I've never rapped before, but that's me rapping on there.
That is so cool. Yeah, so I will be playing Pizza Friday at the end of this show. Thank you, Kurt, for coming on Interesting Beings. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to Interesting Beings.